You may remember this driver from such Golf Liberty episodes as the first Golf Liberty episode about the affordable driver. Today's video is really more about the irons, but I think maybe we'll hit a few drivers just to remember the magic, couple woods, couple hybrids, and then move into the irons. So when I hit this driver, I remember thinking, wow, for a lot less money, it actually looks pretty good, sounds pretty good, and flies pretty good. Hey, would you hit this 3-wood? Pretty good. Is there a matching hybrid? There is a matching hybrid. A nice hybrid. While you may not have come to this video to hear about the driver 3-wood and hybrid, I figured it was worth mentioning that while we talk about the irons that we pretty much already know to be quite good for many years now, you can actually get yourself an entire set of Haywoods for a good price. So I have a full set, pitching wedge all the way to 4-iron, built relatively to my specs, my length, lie, a nice X-Flex shaft. Let's hit some. Let's get some ball flights. I'll let you know what I think of the looks, the sound, the feel, and the numbers will tell you how good the performance is. Pretty good. I would say the sound is pretty nice for a hollow body club. Ball flight for a stronger lofted set like this is what I would expect. I would expect to not have to swing hard, and for me this goes about 150. I towed that, and it went almost the same yardage. Lovely. Let's hit better. Again, almost the same yardage. Pulled it slightly, but not bad. So the pitching wedge, I would say it's easy to get distance with, but it doesn't feel like it's jumpy. It's not like I pulled that one and it went 170 all of a sudden. While the performance and the feel and the sound and everything is quite good, if I were to be critical, it would be a little bit about the looks at address. It's not super traditional. It is quite a big profile pitching wedge. It's large. It's very large. It's in charge. The hosel section, kind of where the heel of the club meets the hosel, it actually gets quite narrow. And the toe side, the high side of the club is quite large and rounded. I'm not saying it's not offensive. It's a big club. It's a little bit of an unusual shape. It's going to look a little bit different in shaping than other clubs you're used to. It's not a deal breaker, but it's something to be aware of. Hit that one a bit thin. That's not bad. 5 or 6 yards short on a very thin strike. All right, so let's hit some 7-irons. Stronger lofted clubs that these are, I would expect that this is probably more like a 200-yard club for me. The looks at address, I would say with the 7-iron, it starts to improve a bit. It has a similar vibe to the pitching wedge. It is, it's a large profile head. The top line's fine. It's not that thick. A little bit narrower, kind of shorter heel. It's not that I don't like it. It's just different. It will take a little bit of getting used to. Yeah, they sound good. Definitely don't feel like I'm working hard to hit the yardage that I sort of guessed it would go. I think I maybe towed that a bit. I did. Only lost about 5.5 yards. Similar. So 2 towy ones in a row. I would say that's a common miss that people get a lot of the time is that towy shot. They're on the golf course, they tow it, they lose over a club of distance and they're totally screwed on a par 3. If that were me, I would have reached the putting surface. So that one I smoked, pulled a bit. It actually only went 203. That's a pretty good sign. I think people are definitely very weary of mysterious flyers and hitting over the green these days. I don't know why people are so obsessed with hitting it over the green, because most people I play with have hit it over the green about once per season. But if you are concerned about overly hot irons, I don't think these are overly hot. That should have gone way over the green. So I think they're reasonably balanced. And that one should be pretty good. These are nice. The closest iron I can think of to feel would probably be something like a Ping I-530. So it wouldn't be as soft feeling as like a Mizuno, which is fine. And it wouldn't be, on the firmer side, something like a P790 or a Titleist T200 or a little bit on the firmer side. I would say these feel softer than that. Actually, it wasn't that bad. It felt like a worse swing than it was. I thought I hit that like way left. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, nice. I have no complaints. I've set a relatively small target here. I think it's about maybe 40 feet wide total or so, maybe 45 feet. Technically, it says we've hit 7 targets. I would not complain. So in the 4-iron, this is actually a combo set that I have here. I was playing in the shorter irons and the mid irons, the PD.1, which is a little bit more like the profile and comparable to like a P790. The SV.2 is the larger, let's call it hotter, more forgiving model. I've got that in the long iron here because, like most people, when I get to a 4-iron, I would prefer to have a little bit of help. A little bit thin. Yeah, slightly thin in heel, and it went, that's about the yardage I would expect. I think a perfect one I could probably fly 240. Pretty nice. That one I hit well. Yeah, I think that would be more like the yardage I would hope when I hit it a little bit more middled, just about 240. That one's a tiny bit in the toe. It's, if anything, went the same distance or slightly further. Wow. Again, the only thing I'm going to say, to be totally fair, the 4-iron has a lot of offset, and it has a little bit of that kind of, let's call it short, narrow heel. This is not that big of a deal, but there is a looks at address difference between typical shaping you would see from OEMs. It is a little bit unique, and you just need to either like it, you might not love it, or you might be willing to get used to it, but the performance of it would definitely help you because they work very well. Yeah, I mean, I could play these. Okay, so a quick look at kind of my best flight with each number iron. This is the best 4-iron. Lots of ball speed, the launch is good, the spin is plenty. A lot more spin than I would have expected. Definitely not overly low spin. That's the carry I would hope to hit from the 4-iron part of my bag, and nice and high. It would be an advantage for me to hit a 4-iron that high. On to the best 7-iron here. Again, high ball speed. The launch is a little bit on the higher side, but that has more to do with me. The spin is controlled. It's medium spin. It's a very high ball flight. So you would have no problem hitting these in the air with good amount of spin and getting a lot more carry. Obviously, the lofts are stronger, but the center of gravity is lower, so it kind of offsets it. I can hit these as high as pretty much anything I've tested, and very easy for me to get a carry on the 7-iron that's about 10, 15 yards longer than what I would get from, call it, a less powerful set. And then similar with the pitching wedge, a good launch angle, a good spin rate, a carry that was very easy for me to hit that's longer than what I would get from a traditional club, plenty of height. They were forgiving when I towed them, no complaints. On the best flight with each it would be a good flight for me, something I'd be very happy with. Pitching wedge average carry 152, 7-iron average 197, 4-iron average 236 and change. What's interesting is that dispersion front to back was pretty tight. So kind of plus or minus 2 yards, plus or minus 3.5 yards, plus or minus 3.5 yards. I mean, again, this is a dry ball in a simulator. Of course, there's no environmental conditions, different lies and stuff. But I would say they were very consistent on distance control, which is usually something that people complain about with a more like P790 style iron. I think these do a pretty good job. I'm not seeing any weird hot shots out of nowhere, no low spin shots that couldn't be explained. When I pulled them a bit, to be honest, they didn't go that much further, which is great. When I hit them off the toe or a bit thin, they carried still to the front of the surface, and I wasn't punished by missing green with a miss hit. Kind of what you would hope to get out of a club like this. The reason you would go to a club like this would be some forgiveness and more distance, and it does both. Quickly building myself my own set. I can tell you exactly what it costs. I'm left-handed. 4 to pitching wedge. It's the combo set. True temper, dynamic old 120s. In an X. Standard length. Haywood grip. Mid-size, logo up. I'm paying 950 Canadian dollars. A small shipping fee, I believe they charge of $35 or so, flat rate. Pretty damn good. A set of just about anything else I can think of that's comparable in performance is about 2 times the cost. Is the fit and finish of it, the looks at a dress, is all of it exactly as good as, you know, a Ping or a TaylorMade? That part I have to leave up to other people to decide. Do you look at them and go, yeah, these are nice, but they look a little bit like a direct-to-consumer iron? That's up to an individual's personal perception and preference. Some people will say yes to that. Some people will say, I have no idea why I'm not spending half the price on these irons that obviously work extremely well. And frankly, the new version looks way better. The look of them, especially just in the bag, the finish, quality of the finish, the sound, the feel, everything is quite a bit better than version 1, which I tested years ago. It's a steal of a deal. The affordable irons. We have the affordable driver, episode 1. There's affordable woods and hybrids. And of course, you have the affordable irons. Yeah, I think they're great.